hotels. Others are Airbnbs. Of course, Airbnb it's a little bit everywhere, but others are still private residences. The big ones, the bigger villas, they can be open to the public as museums. We have 3 or 4 manor houses open as museums. And nowadays, Portugal has been affirming as a wedding destination. Okay, we have lots of foreigners that are coming to Portugal to have their weddings. So imagine getting married in this beautiful landscape with the lush vegetation, the fairy tale forest. So many foreigners are coming here. To the left hand side, it's going to be a hotel. In this case, I don't know how they got the project approved. For sure, someone knew someone because it's such a big building in the national park. So the name Sintra, it's the name of the mountain, but it is also the name of a small village. So the village is down here to the right hand side. So you're going to have a great view of what we call the National Palace. Okay, so the National Palace, the first one to be built in the 14th century, and the symbol of this palace are these twin chimneys that are 33 meters high. So take a look to the right hand side, the white and yellow building, it's the royal palace of the 14th century. So the chimneys, they are actually the roof of the kitchen, because that way in the interior they could roast a wild boar, a deer, because of course they loved Sintra for the weather. It was not as hot as Lisbon, but also because it was a mountain and people could hunt. Hunting was one of the activities that the gentlemen loved. It was a way to exercise, to be in good shape, to be prepared for the battle. So it was almost part of their education. So now you understand why the smaller coach. So it's impossible to do this road with a big coach. So now we're going to start to go up the mountain. People can hike. If you look here, there's a little path, and people can walk all the way to the top. It takes more or less 1 hour walking, so I'm glad we have our Nono to take us there to the gate of the palace. And along this road you can see these beautiful private residences. Of course, if the king and the queen were living here, the nobility wanted to be close to them and started to build these beautiful houses. If you look to the right hand side, you'll see in the middle of the vegetation a gray building with the pinnacles right next to the crane to the right hand side. So that one, for example, it's open to the public. It's called Regaleira. It looks very old, it looks like a Gothic cathedral, but there the works finished in 1910. It belonged to a Portuguese businessman, a man that became very wealthy in Brazil. His business was connected to diamonds and coffee, and that was his private residence. We believe also that this man was a member of the Freemasons, and that the gardens are full of esoteric symbols. One of the symbols is the well that we believe was used for initiation if there were new members of the Freemasons. Then you're also going to see another residence here in the middle of the vegetation with a black roof, there to the right hand side with a steep black roof. That one is called the Bister. The name has a German origin, but the family, they were already Portuguese. They were connected to banking, very wealthy family. They called the best architect, the best sculptor, the best painter to work in this house. However, they only lived here for about 10 years because then the whole family died because of tuberculosis. Okay, that was the disease of the time. Now you can see it here to the right hand side. There was a movie with Johnny Depp that was made here in this palace. Now you're going to see it on your left. The movie is called The Nine Gate. It's a little bit horror movie. It was filmed here in 1999. So you see the property, you see the gardens and the palace in that movie. And if you take a look to the left hand side, right on top of the mountain, you can see the Moorish castle. You can see that there's the fortification with the towers, the walls. So the Moorish castle was built in the 10th century. It was built by the Moors, then it was conquered in the 12th century. It was still used till the 15th century. Then it was abandoned and it was there in ruins. So the founder of the Pena Palace, is going to do the first works of renovation in the castle. Is going to restore the walls, the towers, and is going to set a painting studio right on top of, well, the tallest tower, so he would have the best views towards the Pena Palace. So it's really amazing because we just drove half an hour and we are completely surrounded by this very lush vegetation. It's like being in an enchanted forest. It's really magical. So people really fell in love with this place. If you look here in front of us, there's another private property because you can see the gate, and behind it looks like little palm trees, but these are actually tree ferns. Okay, these are tree ferns to the left hand side. So the tree ferns, they were brought from Australia and New Zealand. Okay, in Europe they are not so common. You have to have a great deal of humidity, as you can see it here. So Ferdinand II, the king, when he arrived here to Sintra in the 19th century, he actually discovered a mountain that was almost a bald mountain. We didn't have much vegetation because along the centuries people, they had been cutting the trees to get the wood. So they were left almost with no vegetation. So this man is going to understand that anything that he would plant here, it would grow. So he's going to bring seeds, plants, trees from all over Europe. Okay, so that's why you have the camellias. We also have the sequoias from North America, the araucarias from Brazil. So you have species from all over the world here in the mountains. So the Pena Palace, it's inside a park that we call the Pena Park. So as a park, as a garden, it's an English style garden, so it wants to imitate pure nature. It looks like the untouched forest, as I was telling you. If you don't know, you believe that these trees have been here since forever, but you have to have lots of knowledge at the level of botanics to understand which trees and which flowers we can put together. So Ferdinand II, he's the founder. Ferdinand II of Saxe-Coburgo-Gotha. This family, Saxe-Coburgo-Gotha, still connected to the British royal family, to the royal family in Belgium, in Bulgaria, so very influential family. And Ferdinand II, he was only 18 years old when he comes to Portugal to marry our queen that was 16 years old. Okay, they didn't know each other before the wedding. That was quite common at the time. And they actually got very well, they got along very well. They had a total of 11 children.
Wow.
Okay, and imagine poor Mary II, she dies at the age of 34. So 34 years old, 11 children.
My goodness.
Okay. So she did nothing but being pregnant, poor lady.
Oh my God.
So the truth is, she never saw the works finished. This was still under construction when she dies, so she never saw the works finished. And of course, Ferdinand II is still young when the wife dies. He's still young, so he's going to find love again. And he's going to meet an opera singer. Imagine the scandal. They meet at the theater in Lisbon. This lady, she's called Elise. She's from Switzerland, but she grew up in the United States, in the region of Boston. That's where she did her studies of lyric singing. And she's a performer. She would go from city to city in the theaters. So they meet in Lisbon. They fall in love, they start to date. They actually dated for 9 years, and only after 9 years they got married. Okay, if you look there to the left hand side, you're going to start to see the palace. Look at the pink tower, the clock tower. So the first generation that lived there in the Pena Palace, it's Ferdinand II and the second wife. Okay, usually we call this lady the Countess of Edla. She eventually got this title so that it wasn't such a scandal, their marriage. So first generation, Ferdinand II and the second wife, the opera singer. Then the next generation, we don't talk much about them because they prefer to live in the coastline. And then the other generation that lives here, it's the grandson, it's King Carlos. Carlos and Amelia of Orleans, she was French. And then eventually we get to the end of our monarchy because our monarchy ends in 1910. So this palace was inhabited for about 60 years. The construction took more or less 25 years, and then the monarchy is going to end. So it gets closed for a while and then opens as a museum. If you look here to the right, you see that there are walls, and we'll see some gates. So on the other side you have what we call the Pina Park. Okay, so as I was telling you, Pina Palace, inside the Pina Park, so this English style garden with all different species of trees, of flowers. So the romantic men, they love the gardens like that, romantic gardens, English style gardens. If you look to the left where you see the clouds, it's the ocean. So if it's a clear day, we get to see the ocean from here. And you're going to see here to the right hand side part of the park what we call the Valley of the Lakes. Okay, the Valley of the Lakes. So you'll see this beautiful lake, and there's a little house like a fortress. That is the house for the ducks. So take a look there to the right hand side. Very charming. So of course people could stay here like a couple of days just hiking and exploring the gardens. We're still going to go even higher, closer there to the palace. So because of all the wind, if you look here to the right hand side, there was a tree that fell yesterday. If you look to the left hand side, you can see the Moorish castle. You can see the towers and the walls. So it is also possible to visit the Moorish castle. There's not much to see inside. We did some excavation, so we understood that there was a village. There were people living there until the 15th century. So we discovered the graveyard. So we can see those, a little museum with those artifacts, but other than that there aren't any rooms or anything like that. So people can walk along the walls, enjoy the views. So in this case people can arrive here. The ticket office, it's the gray building in front of us, but from here people still have to hike a little bit to get there to the Moorish castle. So the access is not that easy.
Claro.
Okay, so we are getting to the point where our driver can reach, because then we have to enter the park. Now we're going to enter the gate. You will see the palace is right there on top. Look at the pink tower up there. So from here we're going to enter the gate, and inside the park there's a little shuttle bus. Okay, so we're going to get in that shuttle bus that is going to get us closer there to the palace. Okay, so